Last night, the award season concluded with the Oscars announcing the winners last night, and and boy, this was definitely one of the more eventful award seasons we've had. Usually you typically get one where you don't have a front runner and everything's pretty standard, or you get one or when you do get a front runner, it's pretty standard and boring. This was where we did have a front runner, but we did have a lot of surprises. And this was definitely one that was not a sewn up race from day one, despite what some people I think are going to be saying online. And because honestly, most people are going to be saying that One Battle was destined to win this entire season. It wasn't close. Sinners wasn't even competition, which that's just blatantly untrue. Untrue. Both of them performed very well at the ceremony last night. Sinners was able to win an acting prize, a screenplay prize, and an additional prize no one really expected to win, as did One Battle. One battle though was definitely one I think did kind of have a bit more of an edge. Was definitely more of essentially I think it was definitely more of what the audience was kind of feeling of the time. And there's a good chance it's not going to be a well-aged win looking down the road, and people will go, yeah, they definitely were kind of persuaded by biases with this movie. Definitely not going to be viewed as a bad win, but definitely a win where I think some people are going to be thinking that Sinners was kind of robbed. And speaking of Sinners, I think one of the big surprises that I was not expecting it to win last night was definitely Michael B. Jordan winning. I thought that if he won, it would win picture, but clearly I was wrong. Now, it's definitely surprising this happened, since no one thought he was going to win up until I think a few weeks ago. When he won SAG, which is just kind of wild, because that's not a typical awards performance. It's definitely much more subdued and definitely plays a lot more essential. It definitely is not as showy as some of the other performances that won tonight. And yeah, just is kind of hilarious that Timothée Chalamet just after campaigning so hard, everyone's saying this was finally going to be his time. He had the perfect narrative. It just seems like it was set in stone at the beginning, and it just didn't happen. Why did it happen? Now, why did this happen? Could just be Sinners just got a lot of love. You tell the Academy really loved it. From honestly any time it won, the crowd just went crazy. And also, Timothy just probably just made himself seem kind of unlikable when he campaigned. And there was also the controversy surrounding the ballet stuff, which I personally think is stupid, both what he said and how people responded to it. But I really doubt that was the reason he lost. It could honestly just be they like Sinners more. They like Sinners more. Michael B. Jordan is pretty well liked in the industry. As was kind of worried him for his long career in Hollywood, and his long time collaborating with Ryan Coogler. And as for the surprises that both Sinners and One Battle had, One Battle definitely surprised in casting, which does kind of set forward what to expect from that core category in future ceremonies. We can take two things away from it. One is, if you're winning Best Picture, you're going to win casting. It's essentially just going to be like editing. Like, doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter if there's a movie that really has better editing than you. If your movie's all liked enough, people go, yeah, okay, let's give it this. Or two, the casting branch kind of likes more essentially unique casting choices. I think you can definitely tell with how they kind of presented it. Was essentially most of them just kind of, the actors were essentially just, praising the casting directors. But how Chase Infinity chose to really truly praise One Battle's casting director was very interesting. Essentially drawing focus to how essentially they cast no one, took years to cast her. Definitely feels like could be what's going forward, or maybe he cast like a new face, a young talent who gives a performance that just turns to a star. That could ultimately be what does get you in there. Ensembles might not be an award that really awards ensembles, and more awards specifically one casting choice. And other than that, ceremony didn't have any two other surprises, other than probably documentary, where Mr. Nobody Against Puna won, which was definitely not something that was too surprising, since documentary, from what I've seen, is typically how the Oscars usually kind of essentially say kind of a political stance. Usually, that's typically what the documentary branch usually tries to do, at least from what I've seen of the winners that they've usually had. And most of the other texts, though, were pretty standard. Frankenstein won everything we expected it to. Avatar won visual effects, and F1 won sound. Nothing really too shocking in any other categories. Win as expected. One Battle won. PTA won his 3 Oscars, which it took him his 3rd speech to finally thank his cast. Like, that's just kind of interesting there. And ultimately, this was probably one of the better ceremonies. Was very funny. Conan O'Brien was a pretty good host. I would definitely be curious if they'll bring him back next time, or if they'll be wanting to bring us some new blood. If they do, I would definitely hope they would bring in, say, like, a Broadway actor, since I don't know, definitely be a change of pace from just getting comedians. But who knows? Overall, definitely one of the more exciting award seasons we've had, and it's definitely gonna be interesting how the next one shakes up.